Greetings programs, Atari here, you there, and welcome to another in our series on Arduino Basics. Up until now, we've been working with LEDs to manipulate light with the Arduino. Now, let's use a different element to manipulate sound for maximum annoyance value. The piezo, or buzzer, is a small element that vibrates in the presence of an electric current. It can also be used in reverse to detect vibration, i.e., it creates a current when it vibrates. It's called the piezoelectric effect, hence the name. Now we'll talk more about the piezoelectric effect in a future video. Now, in addition to our Arduino, our breadboard, and our computer, we're going to need a few new elements. We'll need a piezo buzzer, two 10 kilo ohm resistors, a 1 mega ohm resistor, a 220 ohm resistor, 4 push button tack switches, and an assortment of jumper wires. So let's take a look at the circuit. So this is a little more of a complex circuit. We have several different paths to ground through different resistors. Now this is what is known as a mixed resistance circuit, because we have several different resistors creating different paths to ground at different levels of resistance. And that's measured over here at the end by the Arduino to determine how much voltage is coming through and giving us a value in the sketch. So, wiring this, we have 5 volts coming on into our 5 volt rail, and of course our ground rail connecting back to ground. Then we have 5 volts coming from this rail into the first of 4 tack switches. There's no resistor here, so that path goes all the way down through our pull-down resistor here back to ground and is measured on A0 on the Arduino. The second button is connected to the 5 volts through a 220 ohm resistor, providing a little bit of resistance now. That's measured and picked up on A0 as well. Then we have our third button connected to a 1 kilo ohm resistor, and our fourth button connected to a 1 mega ohm resistor. Each of these, when pressed, will provide a different value back to the analog pin on the Arduino, and then is processed as a different note. Separately, we have pin 8 connected to the piezo and then back to ground. And this is controlled separately through the Arduino after the value of the resistance has been determined by the sketch. Now let's take a look at our Arduino sketch. The tone command generates a square wave of a specified frequency on a particular pin. Notes is an array, which is a collection of values stored under one string. Each value can be called specifically by its position in the array, starting from 0. Else if, it's kind of like the if conditional that we learned in a previous video, but it defines a different set of parameters to test the original variable or in case the original test returns false. You can string together as many of these as you need for each condition. Else is basically the last in the line of such a conditional argument. Now let's upload the sketch and see it in action. Lean on me when you're not strong. So as you see, you push each button and you'll get a different tone based on the amount of resistance that's being measured here on the Arduino. And if you push 2 at the same time, it will go whichever one has the least amount of resistance, because that's how electricity works. Always the path of least resistance. And that will conclude today's Arduino how-to lesson. To learn more about using the Arduino, click the playlist here and watch the entire series. And to get the complete show notes for this episode, including the sketches that are used, click the link right here. If you're interested in goofy electronics projects or learning more about various electronics platforms, click the subscribe button, and don't forget to click the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything. My name is Atari, and until next time, tally ho, y'all!